left unopened, like photographs in rain. And every road behind me was disappearing slow. I thought I had to lose you before I learned to let you go. But somewhere past the shadows, a distant color burns, and every step I couldn't take is waiting for my return. When the last light calls my name, I'll run into the open, through every scar, through every change, through every word unspoken. If all we had becomes a flame, I'll carry what is left of us. And even if the night remains, I'll follow where the last light calls. I used to fear the morning for what it couldn't bring, the empty spaces after the end of everything. But now the wind is changing across this quiet road, and something in the distance feels almost like a home. I don't need all the answers, I don't need yesterday. I only need the courage to choose another way. So let the old days find me and let them pass me by. I know the heart can break apart and still remember how to rise. When the last light calls my name, I'll run into the open, through every scar, through every change, through every word unspoken. If all we have becomes a flame, I'll carry what is left of us. And even if the night remains, I'll follow where the last light calls. There were nights I almost vanished inside the things I'd lost, counting every broken promise, never counting what they cost. There were doors I left unopened, there were dreams I couldn't face, there were pieces of tomorrow I was too afraid to chase. Now the sky above is wider than the one I knew before, and the hands that held the old me don't have to hold me anymore. Maybe hope is not a promise, maybe hope is just a start, a little light that stays alive inside a tired heart. When the last light calls my name, I'll run into the open, through every scar, through every change, through every word unspoken. If all we have becomes a flame, I'll carry what is left of us. And even if the night remains, I'll follow where the last light calls. If tomorrow finds me shaking, I will stand there anyway. If the road becomes uncertain, I will walk another day. I won't ask the past to save me, I won't beg the dark to tonight is where I start. I kept the words between us buried underneath my skin. Every road I tried to follow led me back to where we'd been. I watched the days move forward while my heart refused to change, holding on to little pieces of a life I couldn't save. There was something in the silence, something I could never leave. A tiny spark beneath the ashes, still asking me to believe. I don't know where this road ends, I don't know what I'll become, but somewhere underneath the darkness I can feel the fire come. Where the fire still remains, I'll find the part of me I lost. Through the nights that left their stains, through every bridge I had to cross. I won't ask the world to change, I won't wait for yesterday. If there's one light left inside me, I'll protect the fire that remains. I remember all the moments when I almost turned around. Every fear became an ocean, every doubt became a sound. But I learned that being broken doesn't mean the story ends. Sometimes all the scattered pieces find another shape again. Now the sky feels unfamiliar, but I finally understand. I don't need to know the distance, just the next place I can stand. Let the old days fall behind me, let the new ones call my name. I have walked too far through darkness to be frightened of the flame. Where the fire still remains, I'll find the part of me I lost. Through the nights that left their stains, through every bridge I had to cross. I won't ask the world to change, I won't wait for yesterday. If there's one light left inside me, I'll protect the fire that remains. There are memories I carry, not because I want them back. They remind me I kept moving when the world was turning black. There are names I still remember, there are voices I still hear, but they don't have to become chains that keep me standing here. Every ending left a doorway, every loss revealed a road, and the heart I thought was empty still has somewhere left to go. Maybe I was never waiting for somebody to appear. Maybe all I ever needed was the strength already here. I can miss what disappeared without surrendering today. I can love what came before me and still choose to walk away. If the night comes down again, I won't hide from what I feel. Even embers in the darkness can remind me I am me. the dark, one last step into the day. I don't need to turn around, I know where my heart will stay. There was a road beside the water where we watched the daylight fall. We were young enough to wonder if we'd ever change at all. You were looking toward the distance, I was looking back at you. Neither one of us could imagine what the years would put us through. Now the seasons move between us like a tide I cannot hold. Still a piece of that horizon never seems to grow old. And I know we can't return back to the days we used to know, but some memories keep shining long after we let go. I hear echoes beyond the blue, calling from the life we knew. Not to pull me back again, just to show me where I've been. Every dream we couldn't keep, every promise buried deep, still becomes a part of me, like an echo beyond the blue. I have walked through different cities, I have watched new mornings rise. I have learned how time can soften what we thought would never die. There were nights I tried forgetting every word and every face, but forgetting never healed me, it just left an empty space. So I stopped fighting the memories, stopped pretending they were wrong. Some things aren't meant to stay forever, still they teach us to move on. If I hear your voice inside me, I don't have to turn away. I can carry what you gave me without living yesterday. I hear echoes beyond the blue, calling from the life we knew. Not to pull me back again, just to show me where I've been. Every dream we couldn't keep, every promise buried deep, still becomes a part of me, like an echo beyond the blue. Maybe somewhere you remember that horizon like I do. Maybe time has drawn 1,000 different roads in front of you. I don't need to know the answer, I don't need to know your life. I just hope the years have given you more reasons left to smile. And if everything between us has become a distant shore, I can finally see its beauty without asking for one more. We were never meant to capture every moment in our hands. Some are only here to teach us how to leave and understand. What we lost was never let the silence move. There is nothing left to run from, nothing left to prove. The road ahead is waiting, and my heart is ready to. Still somewhere in the distance, I hear echoes beyond the blue. To show me where I've been, every dream we couldn't keep, every promise buried deep, still becomes a part of me, like an echo beyond the blue. I hear echoes beyond the blue, but now I know what I must do. Treasure what is gone and still find somewhere to belong. Every road beneath my feet, every heart I'm yet to meet, waits beyond what I once knew. Past the echoes, past the blue, the horizon opens wide, and I finally let it be. What we were will stay behind. Next is calling me. We were standing at the edge of everything we'd ever known, with the lights behind our shoulders and a road that had no home. You said nothing lasts forever. I said maybe that's alright. We had spent too long believing we were prisoners of the night. Every dream felt far above us, every door was closing fast. Still beneath the weight of leaving, something pulled us from the past. Then the silence broke around us like the first breath after rain. For the first time I could feel it, we were more than all our pain. That was the night we learned to fly, with broken wings and open eyes. We didn't know where we would land, we only knew we couldn't stand another day beneath the weight of every fear we couldn't name. So we ran beneath the endless sky. That was the night we learned to fly. There were miles without an answer, there were hours without a sound. There were moments when I wondered if we should have turned around. But the darkness kept on changing as the distant morning grew, and the world I'd been afraid of didn't look the way I knew. I could feel my hands stop shaking, I could finally breathe again. Not because the fear had left me, but because I walked through it. Every step became a promise not to disappear again. We were never born for hiding from the lives we hadn't lived. That was the night we learned to fly, with broken wings and open eyes. We didn't know where we would land, we Maybe all the roads between us will grow longer over time. But I'll always keep that moment when the dark began to move, when we stopped asking for permission to become what we could choose. There was nothing there to save us, no direction written down, just two hearts that kept on moving when there was no solid ground. If I lose my way tomorrow, if the sky turns black again, I'll remember how we started with no promise of an end. Courage wasn't never falling, it was standing after fear, taking one more step towards something when the way was still unclear. I can still see that horizon, I can still remember why we were terrified of falling until we looked into the sky. That was the night we learned to fly, with broken wings and open eyes. We didn't know where we would land, we only knew we had to try. Every scar became a reason, every tear became a light, and we ran until the dark gave way. That was the night we learned to fly. That was the night I understood a heart can break and still be good. You don't need to lose your fear to know the place you're going toward. Let tomorrow come and find me, I won't disappear this time. I remember who I became the night we learned to fly. Now the morning fills the sky, and there's nothing left to hide. I take one breath and step ahead with all that night left inside. I used to count the hours until the dark was gone, afraid that if I closed my eyes, I'd wake and you'd be gone. We talked beneath the quiet sky about the lives we'd find, as if the world would wait for us, as if we had the time. But seasons never ask us if we're ready for goodbye. They take the things we thought would stay and leave an open sky. So if tonight is all we have before the colors change, stay with me inside this moment before it slips away. Before the last star falls, before the night is over, let me remember who we are before we cross the border. If tomorrow takes us far beyond the roads we know, I'll keep this moment in my heart before the last star falls. I know we can't keep running from everything that ends. Some roads divide without a sound, some lovers become friends, some dreams survive the distance, some disappear with time, and some remain like little lights we carry deep inside. I used to think that losing meant everything was gone, but every place you now carries on. I don't need another promise, I don't need you to pretend. Just stay until this quiet night and said what it must end. Before the last star falls, before the night is over, let me remember who we are before we cross the border. If tomorrow takes us far beyond the roads we know, I'll keep this moment in my heart before the last star falls. There will come another morning, there will be another road. We'll learn to carry different dreams and different kinds of hope. Maybe years from now I'll wonder where your footsteps finally led, and smile because the life we shared still lives inside my head. I won't ask the stars to guide you, I won't ask them where you are. I only hope when nights are lonely, you remember who you are. If this is where we're changing, if this is where we part, then let me leave without erasing what you gave my heart. You were there when I was falling, you were there when I was afraid. You never had to stay forever to become a part of me. And even when the years have carried every trace of us away, there will always be one evening time can never fully change. One more night, one more sky, one more moment before goodbye. No promises, no reason why, just stay here while the stars still shine. Before the last star falls, before the night is over, let me remember who we are before we cross the border. If tomorrow takes us far beyond the roads we know, I'll keep this moment in my heart before the last star falls. Before the last star falls, I'll finally let you go. Not because the light has faded, but because we both must grow. And wherever morning finds us, whatever lives become, I'll remember how you changed my world before the last star falls. The sky begins to brighten, the final star is gone. I turn toward another road and quietly move on. disappear, for a voice inside the distance to tell me why I'm still here. Every hour felt much longer. Every road refused to bend. I was holding conversations with the words I never sent. Still beneath the noise around me, something quiet stayed alive. Not a promise, not an answer, just a reason I could try. I have spent too many nights listening for something to change. Maybe I don't need permission. Maybe I can make the way until the silence breaks. I'll keep calling through the dark, even if my voice still shakes. Even if I miss the mark, I have carried all this weight far enough to know my heart. I won't wait for life to wake. I'll move until the silence breaks. There were days I watched the sunlight cross the world I couldn't reach. There were truths I kept inside me because they were hard to speak. I believed that being stronger meant pretending I was fine. So I learned to hide the fractures somewhere no one else could find. But a heart was never meant to spend forever locked away. Even words that leave us trembling can become the ones that stay. So if nobody can hear me, I will say it anyway. Every sound begins with silence. Every dawn begins with gray. Until the silence breaks, I'll keep calling through the dark. Even if my voice still shakes, even if I miss the mark, I have carried all this weight far enough to know my heart. I won't wait for life to wake. I'll move until the silence breaks. I don't need the world to answer every question in my mind. I don't need a perfect ending waiting somewhere down the line. There are things I'll never finish. There are names I'll always know. There are moments that will follow everywhere I choose to go. But they don't decide tomorrow. They don't own the steps I take. I can carry what has happened without living in its wake. If my voice becomes a whisper, I will whisper what is true. If my hands begin to tremble, I will still keep pushing through. I have waited for the right time, like the right time had a name. Now I know the smallest movement can become the start of change. And suddenly there is nothing left to prove, just the sound of one more breath and one more move. I can feel something opening ahead, not the ending, just a road I haven't met. Until the silence breaks, I'll keep calling through the dark. Even if my voice still shakes, I know exactly where to start. Every scar and every ache brought me closer to this heart. I won't wait for life to wake. I'll move until the silence breaks. Until the silence breaks, let tomorrow hear my name. I have spent enough of life being frightened of the change. If the night refuses morning, I will walk toward it the same. One more breath, one final step, until the silence breaks. No more waiting for a sign. No more standing at the gate. I take one step into the light. the silence in my way. I remember how the evening used to settle on the road, how we talked about tomorrow like we had forever close. There were dreams we never followed, there were places left unseen. Still I wonder if you carry any piece of what we'd been. Time has changed the view around me, changed the names upon the doors, but some nights the sky reminds me who I used to be before. I don't wish to turn the seasons, I don't need those days returned. I just like to think that somewhere all those little lights still burn. Somewhere the stars still burn above the roads we left behind. Somewhere the world still turns around the dreams we couldn't find. And though we'll never be the ones we were beneath that sky, a little part of you and me still shines somewhere tonight. I have learned that every goodbye doesn't need to disappear. Some can live without becoming something that we have to fear. There are memories worth keeping, there are others we release, and between the two I've slowly found a different kind of peace. I can think about your laughter without wishing you were near. I can miss a distant moment without wanting back those years. Maybe growing means remembering without asking time to turn, letting what we love stay distant like the stars that always burn. Somewhere the stars still burn above the roads we left behind. Somewhere the world still turns around the dreams we couldn't find. And though we'll never be the ones we were beneath that sky, a little part of you and me still shines somewhere tonight. If we passed each other someday on a road we didn't know, will we recognize the people we became so long ago? Maybe there would be no sadness, maybe nothing left to say, just a quiet understanding that we both had found our way. I would hope your life had given more than either of us knew, and the dreams that once escaped us found another road to you. We don't have to hope forever. distant night. I don't need to make it mine. I turn toward the road ahead and leave the past beneath their light. If tomorrow finds me standing where the road divides in two, with the weight of every memory and no sign of what to do, I will think about the moments when I thought I couldn't stay. All the nights that felt forever still surrender to the day. I have lost enough to understand not everything returns, but the heart can keep on beating even after something burns. I don't need to see the ending, I just need one step ahead. There are still unwritten pages beyond everything I've read. If tomorrow finds me still afraid to move, I'll remember every night I somehow made it through. If tomorrow finds me with nothing left to hold, I'll lift my eyes and face the sky and walk into the unknown. I don't need a perfect road, I don't need to know the end. If tomorrow finds me broken, I'll begin again. There were people I believed would walk beside me all my life. There were dreams I held so tightly, they became too hard to find. There were words I never answered, there were doors I couldn't close. There were parts of me I buried so that nobody would know. Now I see the scars more clearly, not as reasons to regret. They are proof that I kept living through the things I can't forget. Maybe strength was never thunder, maybe courage made no sound, maybe it was simply breathing when I wanted to fall down. If tomorrow finds me still afraid to move, I'll remember every night I somehow made it through. If tomorrow finds me with nothing left to hold, I'll lift my eyes and face the sky and walk into the unknown. I don't need a perfect road, I don't need to know the end. If tomorrow finds me broken, I'll begin again. I have spent so long believing I was running out of time, watching other lives move forward while I struggled inside mine. But tomorrow isn't waiting for the person I should be. It arrives without conditions and leaves one more day for me. So I'll stop measuring my footsteps by the roads that others take. There are dreams that bloom much later, there are hearts that slowly wake. If I never find the answers to the questions that remain, I can still choose where I'm going, I can still step through the pain. If the people that it find me here? Not without my memories, not without my fear. Just a little stronger than I was before. Ready for the morning, ready for one more. If tomorrow finds me still afraid to move, I'll remember every night I somehow made it through. If tomorrow finds me with nothing left to hold, I'll lift my eyes and face the sky and walk into the unknown. I don't need a perfect road, I don't need to know the end. If tomorrow finds me broken, I'll begin again. If tomorrow finds me, let it find me alive. With every scar I couldn't hide and every dream I kept inside. Let the morning come and see me, standing underneath its light. I don't know where this road will lead, but I am ready for the ride. Tomorrow doesn't need a promise, it only needs a start. So when the morning finds me, I'll meet it with my heart. I saw the morning through a window on a day I couldn't move. Every color felt much farther than the world I used to know. I had learned to keep on smiling while a storm lived underneath. There were words I couldn't give you, there were nights I couldn't sleep. Still a narrow line of daylight found the floor beside my feet. And for reasons I can't explain, something in me chose to breathe. Maybe light is never waiting at the ending of the pain. Maybe it begins much smaller in the cracks that still remain. Where the broken light begins, I'll meet the morning as I am. With every loss beneath my skin and every dream still in my hands. I don't have to hide the scars, I don't have to make them right. Maybe hope was always born where the broken meets the light. I remember chasing answers through 100 empty days, thinking if I understood them, all the hurt would go away. But some questions stay unanswered, some goodbyes refuse to close, and the heart can spend forever searching roads that no one knows. So I stopped asking the silence for the life I had before, and I started seeing something I had never seen before. There was beauty in surviving without knowing what came next. There was strength inside the moments when I simply chose one step. Maybe healing isn't leaving every memory behind. Maybe it is learning slowly how to carry them with light. Where the broken light begins, I'll meet the morning as I am. With every loss beneath my skin and every dream still in my hands. I don't have to hide the scars, I don't have to make them right. Maybe hope was always born where the broken meets the light. Voices time can't erase. There are moments that still find me when the night becomes too late. I don't need to push them from me. I don't need to call them home. They can live inside my story without choosing where I go. And the person in the mirror isn't who I thought I'd be, but there's something in those eyes now that I finally wanna see. Not a hero, not an answer, not somebody without fear, just a heart that kept on beating long enough to still be here. If tomorrow comes in pieces, I will build with what I find. If the road ahead is darker, I will give my eyes some time. It's the now their dream is taken. I will mourn it when it goes, but I won't mistake an ending for the end of every road. I have learned the deepest darkness cannot tell me who I am. There is still a world before me. There is still a place to When the broken light begins, I can finally see. I was waiting for the world to give myself back to me, but the morning never asked who I used to be. It only opened up the sky and waited quietly. Where the broken light begins, I'll meet the morning as I am, with every loss beneath my skin and every dream still in my hands. I don't have to hide the scars, I don't have to make them right. Maybe hope was always born where the broken meets the light. Where the broken light begins, I'll leave the dark and true behind. Not because I have forgotten, but because this life is mine. Let tomorrow see my scars, let them shine beneath the sky. I was never only broken, I was learning how to rise. The morning reaches where I stand. No answer, no goodbye. I take one step beyond the dark and walk into the light. I thought the night would never end. I thought the dark had learned my name. Every road I tried to follow somehow brought me back the same. I watched the hours move around me while I stayed where I had been, too afraid to lose the pieces of a life I couldn't mend. But somewhere underneath the silence, past the things I couldn't see, a little part of me kept waiting for the person I could be. I don't know when it started, I know what finally changed. I only know the dark around me doesn't feel quite the same. After the longest night, I can finally see the morning, not as something far away, but a light already for me. After everything I lost, after everything I tried, I can feel another world waiting on the other side. After the longest night, I am still here, I am still alive. chance to choose. I kept asking what was missing, like the answer could restore every version of tomorrow that I couldn't reach before. Now I know I don't need answers for each road that disappeared. I can grieve the things I wanted without living in those years. Every ending left me something even when I couldn't see. Every night I thought it broken me was changing something deep in me. After the longest night, I can finally see the morning. Not as something far away, but a light already forming. After everything I lost, after everything I tried, I can feel another world waiting on the other side. After the longest night, I am still here, I am still Maybe life is not a promise that the pain will disappear. Maybe hope is simply knowing there is something after fear. Maybe all the scars we carry are not maps of where we failed. They are lines across the story that somehow still prevailed. I can look into tomorrow without knowing what I'll find. I can leave an empty space there for a life I haven't tried. And the person I was waiting for somebody else to save was the one who kept on breathing through every darkest day. So let the old road stay behind me. Let the memories keep their place. I don't have to burn the pages just to turn another page. Let me carry every person who once walked a while with me. Not as shadows pulling backward, but as lights that help me see. If another night surrounds me, if I lose the road again, I'll remember there was once a dark I thought would never end. And it ended. After the longest night, I can finally see the morning. Every color that I lost is slowly coming back before me. After everything I loved, after every last goodbye, there is still another world waiting on the other side. After the longest night, I won't ask the dark to leave me. I have learned that even shadows cannot take the dawn away. Let tomorrow call my name. Let it find me unafraid. Not because I never tremble, but because I'll walk anyway. After the longest night, here I stand beneath the sky, with every part of who I've been and every dream still left to find. The morning doesn't promise me that everything will be alright. It only says there is more.